Well, it's finally over. Just a few moments ago, I saw something that absolutely broke my heart, and it's something that I think we all expected would happen at some point, but actually seeing it brought before us as a true reality is still difficult to see. In a recent interview, the marathon GOAT Eliud Kipchoge from Kenya has now confirmed that after this Sunday's marathon in New York, he will no longer be running in major marathons. Imagine a world where the Kenyan legend Kipchoge is not lacing up to crush a 26.2-mile run. Hard to imagine, isn't it? Now, Kipchoge has just turned 40, and on November 5th, he will turn 41. And despite his age and unbelievably long running career, I somehow expected this man to be running until the year 2040, chasing after every age group record in the marathon and still somehow finishing in the top 10. The marathon without Kipchoge is the equivalent to soccer without Messi, it's the equivalent to hockey without Wayne Gretzky, or baseball never having Babe Ruth. Kipchoge has been such a staple in the running world that we even made an entire running series based on his abilities, as we covered his continued progress on pursuing the 2-hour marathon back in 2019. And just like this man promised, he did go under 2 hours in the marathon, clocking a 1:59:40 in the Ineos 1:59 challenge. Just GOAT stuff from the great Kipchoge. It will be a bittersweet send-off after this Sunday's New York City Marathon, so make sure to have your eyes glued to the screen, because my guess is that Kipchoge is going to try to pull off something epic for his final major marathon. And even though this news initially hit me as only a negative update, there's actually a pretty big upside to this change, and it comes in the form of Kipchoge attacking brand new obstacles and events that he has never done before. Over the years, we have seen Kipchoge effortlessly run at paces close to 4 minutes and 40 seconds per mile and well under 3 minutes flat per kilometer for the marathon. Even at a pace of approximately 69 seconds per lap, Kipchoge looks like this, almost a jogging effort, where his arms are relaxed, his legs look smooth, his shoulders aren't coming up, and most importantly, his face, his expression, looks as though there is no real exertion actually taking place. Seeing Kipchoge run so fast with so little exertion is just a timeless pastime in running, and it's had many people hoping, praying, pushing super strong for Kipchoge to attack an ultra marathon. And well, ladies and gentlemen, that is exactly what Kipchoge will be doing after his final marathon in New York. Now, in this interview, Kipchoge gave little hints at what he is going to do next. He stated that a lot is in store, which I will roll out after New York. It will be a very interesting journey to do other things. I will even run 50 kilometers in Saudi Arabia, and I also plan on running in Antarctica. Now, the thought of Kipchoge dropping any kind of performance in this cold, chilly tundra of Antarctica is pretty gnarly. This is a notoriously crazy cold location, and the winds can often kick up to gale force conditions on top of the frigid surroundings. And not to mention, Kipchoge will literally be running on ice for an entire performance when this does go down. This is certainly a cool push forward into a new type of running, and this will certainly garner a huge amount of interest from around the world. But the announcement that really got my attention was Kipchoge's announcement that he will be pushing to run a 50-kilometer race, meaning that he is very likely to be going after this world record as well. Now, the 50-kilometer distance is a full 7.9 kilometers longer than the full marathon. And for anyone at home, for any event to reach ultra-marathon status, it simply has to be longer than a full marathon. Now, the 50K record currently stands with C.J. Albertson from the United States at 2 hours, 38 minutes, and 43 seconds, and he achieved this back in October of 2022 at the Ruth Anderson Memorial Endurance Run. Now, this time equates to an overall pace of 5 minutes and 6 seconds per mile, or 3 minutes and 10 seconds per kilometer, which is certainly an incredibly quick pace to be running for such an extended period of time. But based on everything that we know about Kipchoge, from his abilities to his attitude, to his training, and most importantly, to his mental approach, my guess is that he will be able to take down this world record quite easily. Right now, Kipchoge is still achieving full marathons at paces well under 5 minutes per mile, In fact, for 2025, at 40 years old, his season's best of 2 hours, 5 minutes, and 25 seconds was well under 5 minutes per mile pace. And to be able to run a pace of 4:47 per mile, or 2:58 per kilometer for the full marathon at 40 years old is still a pretty crazy representation of his abilities. And if we only add an extra 7.9 kilometers, my guess is that he will be able to run quite close to this kind of pace. And if he does this, he will easily achieve a world record for the 50-kilometer distance, and I think he might have the ability to get close to 7 or even 8 minutes quicker than the current record. Now, the prospect of Kipchoge chasing after another world record is already getting me super pumped for this race, but there has been no real announcement of when this will go down, only the possibility of it happening sometime after his New York Marathon. Unbelievably, it has now been 22 years since Kipchoge won his very first world title, and this came in the men's 5,000 meters back in Paris in 2003. But what is also insane to think about, something that makes this man's longevity nearly unattainable, is the fact that this performance still stands as the world championship record for the 5,000, and it happened when Kipchoge was only 18 years old. Only adding to the insanity of this man's career is the fact that 2003 actually wasn't even his first real season. So if we go back to 2002, we can see that he ran a 13:13 for the 5,000 meters, and he did this when he was only 17 years old. Father Time eventually catches up to all of us, and it's forced some of the greatest names in running to finally hang up the spikes. And even though Kipchoge's times aren't quite as good as they once were in the marathon, this man is still hyper-competitive on the world scene, and he is still chasing after world records. If Kipchoge does somehow catch the ultramarathon bug, like many people hope will happen, I could realistically see this man going after some of the most timeless world records in endurance running. First, there's the 50-kilometer record, which seems like a logical first step. Then there's the 100-kilometer record, where we could see Kipchoge break 6 hours. There's the 12-hour run, which would certainly be a further push up in running for Kipchoge, but all the same, something like this very well could happen. You start at 50K, and you build all the way up to 12 hours, and who knows, maybe this man will be crazy enough to go after the 24-hour world record that Alexander Sorokin set by running well under 7 minutes per mile pace for a full day. To my knowledge, nothing is set in stone for Kipchoge at this point, but my guess is that he is going to be bringing some serious money and sponsorships with him to the ultra scene, which is honestly something that the ultra scene has needed for years now, as elite ultra marathoners are genuinely some of the greatest athletes on the planet. And with one final thought here, picture this: Eliud Kipchoge versus Jim Walmsley in a 100-kilometer run. Would you watch it? Well, of course you would, because that would be an absolutely cinematic race from two of the most beloved individuals in running. I am beyond pumped to see what happens with Kipchoge after New York and in the ultramarathon scene. And of course, I'm also excited to see what he does in New York. And when asked by a reporter if he's still looking to win, he said yes, of course, yes. Thanks for watching, everyone. Until next time.